Top of the morning folks, today from the Reddit Rainforest. I was a threesome baby. What things have your parents told you that you wish they had not? I sat down with my dad to watch 40-Year-Old Virgin. We both enjoy gross humor, so I figured it would be a good time. 15 minutes into the movie, Seth Rogen talks about going down to Mexico to see a donkey show. My dad starts cracking up and proceeds to tell me about the Blue Fox, where he went with some Navy buddies back in the day while on shore leave. They watched a woman duck a donkey that night. My dad told me his friend was totally malarkey faced and stumbled his way up to the stage, where he laid down. The woman came over to him when the donkey was finished and sat on his friend's face. The phrase glazed donut was used shortly thereafter, followed immediately by me being done with movie night. When I was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck and I apparently came out with a hard-on. My uncle took pictures. My dad has an undescended testicle. Mom told me this a few years after their divorce, under the guise that she was concerned that I might, and she wanted me to be normal. Pretty sure she just wanted to tell me that my dad has an undescended testicle. Cannot honestly say I regret knowing this, but I was born by cesarean, and while they were rooting around in there they found a mutant twin. This was a tennis ball sized lump of matter that had fingers, with fingernails, and hair and other random human components. Apparently it came from an unfertilized egg that went haywire and just started developing. My dad worked as a gravedigger in college, and one day at work he and a co-worker uncovered a secret mass grave. There has to be more to this story and I really want to hear it. It was the aftermath of a flu epidemic from the early 1900s, somewhere in Val, where my dad went to college in the 60s. Now I think it's kind of a nifty story, but he told me this when I was like 9 years old, and it gave me nightmares of my dad digging up piles of skulls. When I was first born and brought home from the hospital, my parents were pretty poor, so no crib meant I slept in a drawer in a dresser. That's not too wild, I suppose. People are poor sometimes. One night drinking with dad, that comes up and leans in and tells me, sometimes if you were crying too much, we'd just shut the drawer. Not sure if neglectful or ducking with me. My mom was on the pill. My dad still calls me the 0.1%. My mother once said to me, just as tight as when I was your age because both you and your brother were C-sections. Oh good mom. Thanks. My mom, your dad's penis isn't not that big. It's only like 6 inches long when it's soft. Really did not need to hear that mom. Wait. Why the duck did those genetics skip me? You were almost a blowjob. My father constantly has these lines. And others. Like the best part of you ran down your mother's leg. Or you were not born. I just jerked off into a flower pot and had a bloomin' idiot. My parents made a pact that if they ever paid to sleep somewhere, they would make it worthwhile. Of course. This punctured the illusion my sister and I had willfully constructed that they had had sex twice and no more. Then a thought hit us both. Wait. We used to all share one motel room when we traveled. Did you make it worthwhile? While we were in the room, a very pregnant silence ensues. Mom, sheepishly, well you guys were really good sleepers. My dad told me that while I was conceived, he and mom left cabbage on the stove and burnt it. So if I were a boy, my name would be Kale. I asked why they had sex in the middle of cooking in the first place, and he replied, oh, we did not think it would take that long. But then we started getting into it. Oh. That my very awesome childhood, from what I remember, consisted of my father taking me gambling with him all the time, and him smoking and being stoned in front of me all the time, and that one time when his buddies came into our house to get him, he was actually getting arrested. When I was 14 about to go out with some friends, my mom completely out of the blue goes on not let any girls give you a blowjob. What? I said. You see, I have experience with these types of things. I noped and ran out the door. I was once talking to my mum and she said the pull-out method does not work. You're an example. Feels bad, man. You know what they call people that use the pull-out method? Parents. The condom ruptured. They told me. My mother was 17. They got married before she was 18. And they lived happily ever after. They're going to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary. My mother once told me by and large. I'm both B and large. I'm still trying to forget those words. My mum described meeting dad at a nudist camp in too much detail. Apparently they perambulated in the morning and there was much oscillation of unmentionables. My mom made my dad admit he was a rapist for having sex with her when she was 17 and he was 21. They'd been married for 25 years at this point, with 2 grown children, and she had recently left him. I have never seen my dad weep like that. Note, my dad is gentle, kind, and probably the best person in the world. My mom is crazy in general, and at that time especially crazy with menopause. She's kept her claws in him since their divorce 10 years ago, and she moved back in with him 8 years ago. Separate bedrooms, no sex. Now she's jobless, and he supports her. Sounds exactly like the kind of thing a rapist would do. My mom also told me when I was conceived, it was Halloween and my mom was dressed as a rabbit. I file that under malarkey. I never wanted to know. Like a sexy Playboy bunny or in a giant furry suit. I never asked for details. My father told me that my parents divorcing was my fault. If it weren't not for you being sick, your mother and I would still be together, ducking asshole. My dad tried that too. Then I reminded him that it was his side of the family that I got it from. Also that he was a cheating bastard. I was conceived in an apartment above a tire shop when my mother was 14 and my dad was 25. They did eventually get married. Probably so my old man did not go to jail, but divorced when I was 11 because my mother was such a whore. My mother also ducked the best man at their wedding. Where to begin? My mother told me it's okay to masturbate by saying they used to tell us we'd grow hair on our palms, but we proved them wrong. She told my boyfriend and I while we were swimming that she and my dad used to go skinny dipping all the time. Then there was the time she described, in detail, the boil that kept reappearing on her vagina, and apparently it's hereditary. Duck. I love my mom, but sometimes being the only other girl in the house has its downsides. I asked my mom, who converted to Catholicism, why she hated me so much and was such a good mom to my younger sister and brothers. She told me that my dad pressured her into sex before marriage. She was pregnant when she walked down the aisle, had to alter her dress, and then had a really difficult labor for me until she asked God for forgiveness. I'm nothing more to her than a walking reminder of her sinfulness. My siblings were conceived and born in the confines of a loving and God-sanctioned Catholic marriage, so they're okay, and I'm the devil. My mother told me she was gonna abort me, but she did not after my dad and my grandparents took 4 days off from work to convince her not to do it. My mom likes to tell me about her sexual exploits with my father when she gets drunk. Here are some on the list. She let my dad put it in her ass so she could go to the Bahamas with her friends. She and my dad have had sex in the following rooms of the house: their bedroom, my 7-year-old sister's bedroom, the weightlifting bench, the kitchen, the laundry room, all the showers in all the bathrooms, and probably more that she has not yet told me. She struggled with blowjobs for 10 years before her friends clued her in that she could use her hands as well as her mouth in the process. Not sure if this counts, but I have walked in on my parents a total of 9 times and have heard them having sex more times than I can count. Also, they have had sex while I was sleeping on the floor in the same room. I once found my parents' sex drawer. Among the normal things, bondage, lube, vibes, etc., I found a strap-on, which either means that my mom likes DP or my dad likes to take as well as give. The weirdest part of all this? My parents are both super hardcore fundamentalist Christians. They were both virgins when they got married. My mom was 19 and my dad was 26. Apparently anything is fair game as long as you put a ring on it. My mom told me she only got pregnant with me so my dad would stay with her. That did not work. And he did not want me either. Whatever. I do not want her either. She sucks. My dad is cool and loves me. My mom told me my dad likes it when she sticks her finger in his butt. Time to repress again. Rainbows and kittens. Rainbows and kittens. Rainbows and kittens. ... At 13 years of age, I won a reserve slot at the national championship in table tennis with a blasting qualifying final. 29-27 final set. My mother told me 6 months later that I was supposed to be there, but that she and my father did not tell me at the time because they did not feel like I deserved it. WTF moment of my life. I started smoking weed the day after and quit table tennis. When I was 14, I sitting with my legs crossed, talking to my mum about helping out with a disabled kid. She gave me a pat on the leg and said, "That's my big boy." However, because I had my legs crossed. She ended up patting part of my big toe. She jumped and shouted oh her, sorry, then looked down, noticed it was my toe and said oh, it's your toe dot. Thank God. Otherwise you would have been a very big boy. To sum it up, mum told me she mistook my big toe for my penis. I was conceived in a potato field previously owned by my great grandfather. My mother told me after a few drinks. And then my father pointed the spot out to me the next time we visited my family in New Brunswick. Dad asked me if I'd like to pull some potatoes from that spot for dinner immediately after. Well, not parents, but my aunt told me things about my dad I wish I never knew. I never knew why my grandpa did not care for my dad that much. Well, now I kinda do. My dad had a kid with another lady, meet my mom, and abandoned his family and married my mom. There is more, but a lot I choose to block out. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. There is no more after this. Click the thumbs up button since you liked the video because you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. I do not know why you are still here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay. Are you ready? The message is subscribers enjoy 2 great Reddit videos every day. Yeah, right, no, I know. What are you expecting though? This is a YouTube channel.